Hello, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 29th of March 2022. So with Chris Bear Rossi over here. Say hello, Chris. And we are currently taking two young Ukrainians to Dusseldorf. Oh, I said Frankfurt. Dusseldorf. We are currently about 5 hours away from Dusseldorf. It was a bit far to drive yesterday from the border, so we actually stayed at a hotel last night on the border between Poland and Germany. We're on the Polish side, because you knew a little bit cheaper. Anyway, the place we stayed was like a proper old castle. Would you call it a castle? With like a courtyard. We stayed in different areas of the courtyard, and for the rooms themselves, the actual rooms were cheaper. Were cheaper to stay in a castle than the Ibis budget in Calais that we stayed in. Where the shower was so small that Bear couldn't fit in it. It was like, oh my god, this is designed for like the smallest person. Wow, it was banging in. So we're in Germany at the moment. We are on the number 4 road, the A4 number 4, which basically runs all the way across Germany and then all the way across Poland. Yesterday when I typed into Google, on the map, and we need to get to the border, it's one of them where it comes up with directions and it says continue on this road for 650 kilometers. I'm like, all right then, don't think I'll need the map for a while, which is cool. Nick and Diff saying, asking about people in the back. Sorry, I missed a load of videos. Nick and Diff. No, you haven't. We haven't actually done a video since yesterday. This is the first video we've done because we wanted to make sure that our young Ukrainians that we have in the back were okay with us filming in the front here. They're cool with it. So that's cool. So yeah, we're out. We're streaming. And if you've missed a bit, Nick, what we've done is on Saturday we headed out. We got as far as Calais on Saturday. And on Sunday we got all the way from Calais to the border on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. The border between Ukraine and Poland at a place called Medyka or Medica. Spelled Medyck. Medica.
Polish contractor means it's Medica.
Dyka, sorry. Medica. Okay. So we're at the border at Medica, and we dropped off all the aid that we had with Dr. Gordon, the medic, Gordon, who's been volunteering there these last few weeks. And they were absolutely made up, that they got, amongst the other stuff, which they might not need as much, we brought some things like fold-out chairs for people to sit on while they're waiting to get through the border.
We just got
a
sign from the guy there.
It's got a peace sign.
Yeah, peace sign from him.
We've got signs on the van that say UK for Ukraine. Anyway, so we got to the border, we delivered the stuff. But the main thing about, we brought them a defibrillator and an oxygen concentrator. And he was like, these are going to save lives. These are seriously going to save lives. Like, start saving lives right away. Because they've got people who are elderly, in their 80s and their 90s, who are making these huge journeys. And don't forget, Ukraine is one of the biggest countries in Europe, if not the biggest country in Europe, if you don't count Russia, which I think we all might just stop counting that from now on. What do you think? So people have been making these very, very long journeys, sometimes in quite cramped and uncomfortable conditions. It's been a very stressful journey for a lot of people, and then they have to get to the border. Now I want to talk about this a little bit. I think what is going on at the border where we were in Medica is amazing and appalling. I will explain. First of all, it's amazing. Everybody who is there is a volunteer. They're not getting paid. They have come from all over the world. We met a guy who was from Darwin in Australia. He flew from Darwin to come and help. And they are making food. They're giving out supplies, medicines, all that kind of stuff to refugees who are coming across the border. But there isn't any overall control. It's a bit like you put your tent down and you can do what you like. And I'm saying to Bear, where's the UNHCR? That's the European High Commission on Refugees. Where is it? It's literally not there, and they should be running the show. Okay, you can have other charities and other volunteers there, but it should be at the end of the day under the auspices of the UNHRC and the Red Cross. And I didn't see either at the border. It's been a month. I mean, maybe a week after the conflict started, there would be an excuse.
Apparently, when we asked, they said they were still considering it. Okay, they were actually considering it. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure what you have to consider, to be fair, but apparently we were told by people we asked that they were considering it. There's people there from Medicine Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. They're there.
Yeah.
They were surprised that Red Cross weren't there or the UNHCR. But then again, in the flip side of the coin is they are kind of glad they're not, because if it came under their control, the things that they've been doing, the sharing that the organisations have been doing between each other and helping each other would be restricted and controlled beyond belief, and they wouldn't have the freedom to help as much as they have now, is what we were being told by quite a few organisations that were there. So, double-edged sword.
It is a sword, but at the end of the day, there is a legal responsibility that needs to be taken on board. And if people smuggling gangs, people traffickers are preying on vulnerable people coming across the border there needs to be a proper structure, a proper setup. They need to make sure that there's volunteers and they're wonderful, wonderful people for doing this, but they need to make damn sure that, you know, they're there for the right reasons, do a background check and all that kind of stuff. Now, they'd actually changed the rules on the day we got there about picking up refugees. Because up to this point, it had been a little bit of a free-for-all. They wanted your passport, your driving license. They ran a background check on you, which took a couple of hours. But other than that, that was it, really. And they would let people take families, take vulnerable people around Europe. And you know what? 99.9% of people who are doing this are, I mean, not just good people, but amazing people who are really helping out. Unfortunately, there's always going to be a criminal element who will see this and think, okay, how can I exploit these people for my own profit? And this is what's been happening. People have been trafficked already. A disturbing number of people have been. And I don't know what it's like on the other borders, but they have tightened it up now. So unless you're part of an actual charity or an NGO, they're not letting you pick up refugees anymore, which is good. It's a step in the right direction. But at the same time, the way things were set up in the humanitarian aid centre, just away from it was just a mile away from the actual border itself. It was shocking. It was like a jumble sale. Did you go? You went in the building, didn't you? Yeah. You needed a wristband to get through the first checkpoint, and once you got through the first checkpoint, as someone who was offering to help, you could then meet with just like two people who weren't with the same. They went with the same charity. Sorry, we're going through a tunnel. If you wonder why we just walked into a disco, they weren't necessarily with the same, and they weren't necessarily talking to each other or even speaking the same language as each other. And then they had another barrier, and behind that barrier, you only allowed if you had a refugee wristband, and that's where the desks were to register to stay in different countries. And so they had flags up for the different countries. You'll never guess who had the biggest flag there. Any guesses, Bear? Biggest flag?
Oh, wasn't the UK, was it?
It was the UK. And who was the least helpful?
The UK.
So I couldn't go to the UK desk and say, right, me and my partner have registered to take in a Ukrainian family, but in order to do that, we have to have their names, we have to have their details in order to officially invite them. You can't just say, I'll take anyone. You can't do that because the government has set it up to be so cruel and difficult and unreasonable to good people who are opening their homes for people to stay to actually do it. We went to the border and we couldn't get someone's name because we weren't allowed past the second barrier to actually talk to people at the desk. So what I did, being a Bolshie Scouser, you know you love me, is basically shouted out, "Come here, oi, come here," just channeling me Uncle Yozza, "Get a job, no, come, shouted them, and managed to get the attention of someone, and they were talking to that Scouser, and so they came over, and I explained the situation and said, "Look, we have registered. I need to know people's names, and then we can put their names down on the form, and we can get going with their visa." Britain is the only country in the whole of Europe that Ukrainian refugees need a visa to get into. The only one. They don't. If you're mad enough to want to go to Belarus or Russia, you don't need a visa to go there. It is only the UK, and they say that they're worried about British spies. This is a country that allowed, British spies, but Russian spies. This is a country that allowed Russian spies to not only come to our country and attempt to kill a Russian father and his daughter. They also actually killed a British citizen in Salisbury, and they got away with it. They absolutely 100% got away with it. And yet now we're worried about Russian spies coming over disguised as women and children from Ukraine. Anyway, so I gave them my email. And said, "Please, can you email me?" And the woman I spoke to said, "I'll do it right away." And I've been checking my email every 10 minutes since we left, and nothing. So if you go to the border, you can't even get the name of a family to say, because they're supposed to be matching people up. So if someone comes over and they say, "Where do you want to live?" And they say, "Well, I'd like to live somewhere that's not a big city, that's near a nice university or something." They might say, "Okay, well, have you thought about Durham, for instance?" Or they say, "No, I'd like to live somewhere near Liverpool or Manchester," so they can match them with families who have said that they will take people in. But there's a complete disconnect there because you can't get through step one. So a little bit frustrating, to say the least. Anyway, so we set off from our hotel on the border this morning at 8 o'clock, and now we are barreling towards Dusseldorf to drop Alex and Alexandra off, their cousins, and it's Alexandra's mum that we're going to in Dusseldorf, and hearing their stories. They're from Carson, not Curzon. They're from Curzon, which is near Odessa in the south of the country. It's quite near to the Crimean Peninsula, and that's one of the reasons it was one of the places that was taken very, very quickly by the Russians at the start of the war. And yet, people are going out in Curzon every day in rallies and protests against the Russians being there. The Russians shoot at their legs, and still every day they go out and protest and say, "You're not welcome, go home." And the Russians, I mean, it's still a Russian soldier who thinks they're doing the right thing here, and hasn't had that, the moment of going to be the baddies. I'd be amazed. I'd be absolutely amazed. So, couple of comments here. Great job, Graham and Chris. You appear to be doing more humane work than the UK government. Well done, you two, and those who have donated. Thanks very much, Matt. We've got number 9 giving us a thumbs up, and we've got AW Peterson saying good morning. Good morning, AW Peterson.
But we've also, to say thank you for that, but we've also got a shout out to Andrew Vaughan.
Yes.
Paolo Arrigo.
Yeah.
Those two guys have been amazing.
Yeah.
I've just had a text today not a text from Andrew, but I saw a posting on that he's managed to get hold of 7 refugees he's taken to Warsaw. So nice one, Andrew. It seems that the rules got changed where we were, but at Chelm, not yet.
Yeah.
So he's able to get refugees and take them. So nice one, Andrew. Paolo, mate, still think you're a legend. So the thanks have to go to all of us as a group, because there's other people out there doing it as well.
Yeah. I want to give a massive shout out to Kieran Donovan, Kieran the van driver.
Oh, Kieran, mate, you're a legend, mate.
Who put this all together. I mean, if it wasn't for Kieran, we wouldn't have done this trip. It's as simple as that. He really wanted to do it. He couldn't because of forces outside his control. And hopefully, if we go back, maybe he'll come in the future. But we are coming back definitely. So you up for doing this again, Bev?
Absolutely. As soon as I can, I'm back.
I want to talk a little bit about the experience of what it was like on the border and thinking this is happening here now in Europe.
Well, let's put it in one word: it's emotional. Very emotional.
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. And so we're but just to go back to the UNHCR for a moment. Seriously, when I went to every country in Europe in 3 weeks, I raised money for the UNHCR. So I've got contact there if they're still there. I will be getting in touch when I get back because they need to pull their finger out. This is disgraceful. It's been over a month now. They should be controlling who's picking people up and taking them places. There should be a central database. There should be a website set up where you can apply to be a driver. They will allocate you a refugee or a family of refugees for as many people as you can take. You will have a time slot for you to arrive, and then you have your destination. They don't need to pay for your petrol or your anything else. That's up to you to do as a volunteer. And it's the organisation and also the responsibility, because at the moment no one is taking responsibility. So if something goes wrong and someone is trafficked and they give a family of refugees to someone who basically kidnaps them, someone is held responsible for that. At the moment, no one is being held responsible, which I think is disgraceful. And I'm going to just say it's cowardly. It's absolutely cowardly. And don't tell me that the UN don't have the resources to be doing this, because I know they damn well do. They've got the money to have a fancy office in London, the most expensive city in the world. Think they can afford to set up a freaking website to make things safer for the millions of refugees coming across from Ukraine right now. And they're equaled by the millions of people around Europe, from every country in Europe, who just want to help, Give them the opportunity to help. God damn it. I wish more people were seeing this message, I really do.
However, since the trafficking, they have increased police presence at Medica, and border guards have been doubled, and they brought in the Polish army as well, and Polish reserves. So they're all patrolling around the camps, and also the volunteers there are on the lookout as well, and they're kind of suspicious about whoever. They know what to look for, who to look for. So the problem being is the refugees that are coming in are Ukrainian. The Polish police only speak Polish and maybe a little Russian, tiny little bit. Not understanding these people are coming in with the rest of the transports. Saying to the Ukrainians in Ukrainian to come over, we'll take you. Police don't know what's going on. So there needs to be a system where, like us being registered, that there is a card or they have some kind of ID that, some kind of, so they can wear that says they're safe. But at the moment, there isn't anything. It seems like it's free for all. When we got there, it felt like a free for all. We had the border guards were not the friendliest people. We got moved on 4 times. The Polish police, amazing, very helpful. The people that are actually working there, the one thing that struck me, we had Sikhs, Bengalis, Pakistanis, we had Islam Congress, or Congress of Islam, volunteers there, we had Jewish organisations there, and they were all working together. There was no animosity between a lot of them.
Yeah.
There were smiles, they were helping each other.
Sharing everything.
Someone
needed some kit.
It was unreal to watch. It was amazing, and it really brought a lump to my throat. The people that we saw there, some of the refugees that we saw there, it was the look on the faces. Some of them were just shell shocked. They just didn't know what day it was. Children, some children asking if they wanted to go home. They didn't know why they couldn't. That was heartbreaking. So, seriously, UNHCR, where the hell are you? Get your act together. Seriously, get your act together. And the Red Cross should be showing yourselves. Really should be showing yourselves. You're considering it. Are you? Really? You have to consider it. You muppets. In Italian, stronzos.
Do you know what? And I just want to say to the people who said before I set out that I shouldn't do this and I should just give to the Red Cross instead. Sorry, but you were wrong. You were wrong at the top of your voice. If you want to really help, there are people going out there who are doing stuff. Also, there's organisations who are there on the border. The Red Cross is a fantastic organisation. I have met people who work for the Red Cross all over the world, and I think they do a lot of good around the world. In this particular situation, if you give money to the Red Cross, and feel free to correct me in the comments if this is wrong, but as far as I'm aware, even if you text the word Ukraine on your phone and you think that your money is going to Ukraine, it's not. It's going into the whole part of the Red Cross, which operates in every country in the world. Okay, so I don't know if they have a separate Ukrainian fund that is just for sorting things out on the in Ukraine itself. And do you know what? There are Red Cross volunteers in Ukraine at the moment on the front line. They are very brave, incredible people. I don't want to have a word said against them either. I think this is more to do with logistics, management, and organisation of the organisation, which I think is, look, from an outsider coming in and just seeing what's going on at the border after a month, I was shocked. I was shocked at how ramshackle the operation was. You're talking. These countries are saying they're giving millions in aid. They're giving millions in aid to the Ukrainians. Where is it?
See it. I can just say, but even though it's ramshackle, the people that are on the ground there, the ones that have stayed there from day one, okay, they're living rough, and I mean they're living rough. There ain't in hotels living rough. Respect. You have my respect. I ain't total respect for what you're doing. It's a hard job. They're tired. They are literally to the point of exhaustion, but they still wake up every morning and they go to sleep late at night. Sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. I was being told, helping. So they've got my respect. As for the Red Cross, I'm angry, very disappointed, and I don't want to swear. No, do
it's almost
so. From Italian swearing, it'll be to the Red Cross. Can I just say, vaffanculo. Seriously, there is nothing there. I don't know why they have to consider it. I know I harp on about it, but it's making us both so angry. The volunteers down there, it's making them angry because they don't feel like they've got any support apart from who's there on the ground. All the different organisations that are there, the little ones that are helping each other. All right, we went there fully loaded. They couldn't be more happy. They were so grateful. All right, so we're going to go back to England. We're going to do our best to raise funds, get more equipment, and then we're going to go straight back. And I want to keep doing that. And I'm going to keep doing that until there's no breath in my body, to be honest, because after what I've seen and what I've experienced, I can't sit at home, can't sit with my feet up, having a cup of coffee, watching the TV thinking, oh, poor people. No, I'm not doing that.
Well, I just said to you before, didn't I? I mean, as much as I love watching TV, I don't feel like I'm helping anyone.
No.
But yeah, it was a very emotional day yesterday, and I think that the fact that we managed to get everything that we needed to get to the border, to the right people who specifically asked for it, and then we managed to pick up a couple of young Ukrainians to take to their mob in Dusseldorf. So, I mean, in that respect, the journey itself, this is exactly what we wanted to do. I think we would have been bitterly disappointed had we, turned up at the border with a bunch of stuff and they were like, "Oh, that's the wrong stuff," or "We don't need that." Take it home with you. And if we hadn't been able to pick anybody up to take somewhere, and fortunately, Dusseldorf is like slap bang on our route to Calais, so it's not even like much of a diversion for us. And Alexandra's mum has asked us to come in when we drop them off for a cup of tea, so we're going to pop in there for a cup of tea.
Well, stuff they wanted. Some stuff they wanted, I would never have thought of, to be honest. Chairs. Fold-up chairs, like your camping chairs.
That was my idea.
Was it your idea?
Yeah, that was my idea.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I saw the queue because Dr. Gordon put up a video of everyone at the campus of this massive queue, and he said some of these people have been waiting 5 hours. And I was like, bloody hell, they need camping chairs. I go to a lot of festivals.
But the chairs, seriously, they were popular, very popular, especially with the elderly. There's quite a few. They've got nowhere to sit.
I once turned up the Glastonbury Festival with a fold-out chair, a bottle of scotch. That was it. That was when I was, I'll bump into someone I know. They won't mind me sleeping in their tent. But I'd like to talk to someone at the UNHCR and say, why is it like this? I'll be interested to find out what the answer is on that. Because I don't think you should
put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
The fastest way they'll answer you.
Yeah. But I would also, I don't want to be too critical because I know they do lots of good in other countries. They're doing a lot of good in countries around Syria and in Syria and Yemen. And UNHCR does do a lot of good. The Red Cross does a lot of good. The Red Cross is possibly doing incredible things right now in Ukraine itself. We're talking when we're complaining about this is specifically at the border post that we're at. It's not a particularly big border post, but it's an 8-lane highway, isn't it, going through the border?
It is, and this is where most of them are now coming through. Most of the refugees we've been told are coming through at that point, and I don't know what they have to consider coming out. I don't know what the consideration is. I mean, what's the problem? If you can come back to us and tell us what the actual problem is, when Medicine Sans Frontières and Red Heart and other organisations are there, and I've been from day one. Where are you? Yeah, seriously, where are you?
But it's not like we need the UNHCR or the Red Cross to take over what's there at the moment. It just needs a little bit of organisation. It shouldn't be up to people like us to bring a defibrillator to a point where a lot of elderly, vulnerable, exhausted people are going to be. They know they're going to be there. People are going to have heart attacks. They are going to have heart attacks. Why is there no defibrillator on the border?
Defibrillators that we bought was an AED. They're portable ones, and they work off batteries. The batteries only give so many shocks, so then you have to replace the battery. You can't charge them. So if anybody knows of any companies that have got these batteries and wouldn't mind donating, because we're going to be, once we get back home, we're going to be bringing around quite a few. So if anybody does know anybody, let us know.
But that to me seems really straightforward. The oxygen concentrator that we took as well. We couldn't take oxygen bottles, obviously, through the Channel Tunnel. And this was a better way to do it because it means the amount of oxygen you give someone is unlimited. It just makes oxygen from the air. But again, you're talking about an area where you have people queuing up for hours, standing up, queuing up in the heat. It gets very cold at night, -5, -6 at night. During the day, it was up to 25, 26 degrees. It was so hot. I left my coat at the border. Very big duffel coat, super dry coat.
I must say some thank you for that.
Well, Gordon said he'll keep it for me for when I go back, so I've got a reason to go back now. Not that I didn't already, but the good news is that we have raised enough money in order to do this trip a few more times, maybe even more than that. So we'll see how much this trip cost us. And we've been we tried to be as canny as possible, haven't we, with the money that was given to us.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like I said, we stayed in the Ibis budget. We shared a room in an Ibis budget. If you ever stayed in Ibis budget and you know how small the rooms are, we shared a room. And Chris here, you can't tell because he's sitting down, I know, but he's actually 6'6". He is 6'6". There is a reason why his nickname is Bear. But then where we stayed last night, cheaper than the others.
And bigger.
Yeah, much bigger.
Food was nice.
We had a room each, so that was a good start. You didn't have to put up with my snoring.
The food was nice.
Oh, the food was incredible. Like there was free breakfast, and it was like bacon, egg, croissant, cereal, fruit. It was like everything you like for breakfast. Fantastic. Although they did have what looked like a cold uncooked sausage
in water,
which it's one of them. I put it in my mouth, and I didn't even bite into it. I just went no. It looked uncooked. I don't know what it was.
Maybe it's a Polish.
Weird Polish sausage. Yeah. So we've got some messages coming through on the chat there. And number 3 saying he's proud of us. Thanks very much, Richard. And thank you, Richard, for your support, not just on this, but over the months I've been doing my YouTube channel. You've been a stalwart supporter of it. Also, people coming in with information about the Partygate scandal, in which while we were banned from spending the final few moments with our loved ones as they slipped away from us, the bastards in Parliament, in government, were having a party every other week. Literally every other week they were having a party. I mean, I know some young people who don't party that much. Anyway, apparently some of the fixed penalty fines have already gone out, but they're not releasing the names of who they've gone to.
Name and shame.
Name and shame.
Right,
name and shame.
Seriously, name and shame.
So, yeah. So basically, the system at the moment on the border, it needs to be made better. It needs to be made more helpful. I mean, at the moment, we've got people talking different languages. Ukrainians, some speak Russian, some speak a bit of Polish. But a lot of the people who are like volunteering didn't necessarily speak any of those languages. Yeah, it was all a bit shambolic.
Things were getting done, but it was just chaotic. There was no organisation as such. Everybody's just helping the best way they can.
Did you see in the humanitarian aid centre? So the aid centre was an old supermarket that had been repurposed.
Old Tesco.
An old Tesco. There were Boy Scouts in Poland. Did you see that?
Yeah, the Boy Scouts. Well, they were actually at the border as well.
Yeah.
The Boy Scouts of Poland.
Yeah. So young lads, and maybe girls, didn't say any girls, but young lads helping out with the neckerchiefs on. I thought that was really sweet.
They were really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't want the Red Cross or the UN to come in with the big clodhoppers and tell everyone to leave who's volunteered and get their own volunteers in. I want them to work with the people who are already there on the ground.
Because they do an amazing job.
Yeah,
under really difficult circumstances.
But it's just that level of management, the level of organisation, and the level of responsibility has got to be there. Because ultimately, if no one's responsible for people getting taken away by people trafficking, it's not going to stop. And this is, I couldn't think of something more horrific than doing this to someone, anyone, in any circumstance, but particularly in this one, where it's vulnerable people fleeing a war. And some people, as evil, sick as out there, who are like, oh, let's exploit the situation for monetary gain. I mean, how evil do you have to be?
Sick and twisted.
Almost as evil as Priti Patel. Anyway, good to see you again, says Conservative. Thank you very much. Best followers, primes, and viewers. What's that? I think we're getting some spam. Conservative, are you still an admin on my YouTube page if you are. Can you get that spam? I require a cup of tea, says Duke Vengeance. Be right back. Good stuff. Well, Duke Vengeance, I'm afraid you might not be in luck because we might be wrapping up this live cast in a few moments. Obviously, Bear's taking over the driving. I drove a little bit this morning, a couple of hours. Got us into Germany.
Trying to overtake without getting killed.
And that was difficult, isn't it?
God.
Honestly, I find the motorways in the UK incredibly stressful. So much so that when I go home to Durham from Liverpool or vice versa, because they're kind of both my homes, I take the A66. I go through Barnard Castle from a free eye test.
Not Barnard Castle.
Yeah,
the Barnard
Castle. Because I don't want to travel down the A1M and then onto the M62. I hate it. I absolutely hate the M62. It's just the road to hell. Technically, it's the road to Hull, but it is the road. They have those gantries where the speed changes at each gantry, and it's all cambered. So you're always stressed out that you're going too fast. You always looking at your speedo instead of looking at the road. And yeah, it's kind of painful. But the motorways here in Germany and in Poland, they're even more stressful. I don't know how they manage.
Poland was the worst. They don't even wait for you to sort of pull back in again.
It's a dual carriageway. There's only 2 lanes on each side of the barrier of the what's the thing in the middle called?
Central Reservation.
Central Reservation. There's only 2 lanes on each side of the Central Reservation, and so that you're either in the truck lane going at 10 miles an hour, or you're in the super fast 5G fiber broadband lane going at 200 miles an hour, and there you've only 2 choices. So every time you change this, it's a bit like that scene from the movie The Wages of Fear, in which they're in a truck full of nitroglycerin and they can't slow down or they'll blow up, and you can't speed up or they'll blow up. Yeah, it's a bit like that. And there's a truck coming very fast behind them. So yeah, I was going to tell them where we are. Can I turn this so I can see it?
So what?
Can I turn your phone?
Yeah.
I was going to tell people where we are. We are near a place called Arnstadt and Gotha. We're near Gotha, as in Saxe-Coburg, Gotha. Gotha, sorry. Mine's with Gotha. That's where we are at the moment. I'll show you out the window over here because we have a castle. I don't know if you can see this very well. There's a castle on top of a hill over there.
There's one over there. There's one over there.
There's one there as well. Castle on top of the hill. I don't know how well this is going to come across on video. Probably just going to be able to see the reflection of what's on. There's one up there. Lots of castles.
It's Germany. This castle will be fine for me.
Do they like castles in Germany?
It's like England. There's like stately home would be like it's like 300 yards.
What, Scotland?
No, England. Especially Derbyshire.
Is Alton Towers in Derbyshire?
Staffordshire.
That's Staffordshire. Because you know bananas were invented in Alton Towers.
Oh, is this another joke?
No.
Swear to God.
No. The cultivar, the type of banana that we all eat, is called a Cavendish banana because it was grown for Lord Cavendish in the 1800s by his gardener, who I think was a chaplain of Alton Towers. Seriously, they're all clones of each other. Until the 1960s, we all ate Big Mike or the Gross Michael variety, and then they had a blight, wiped them all out because they're all clones of each other. They all cuttings from each other, so they all share exactly the same genetic material. No variation. So once you get a blight, it takes them all out. Which is what's happening at the moment with the Cavendish banana. It's being taken out by the Panama blight, which the banana growers of Australia are very, very, very afraid of, and it's one of the reasons why you can't take any fruit into Australia.
Just past the lorry, he says, guess who has the best pizza? It's got a guy called Gustav underneath. Now, I might take offence to that because they've obviously not been to Italy.
Maybe it's a guy from Italy called Gustav.
Gustav.
Yeah, Italy.
Parkin. Gustav Hagen's an Italian name.
Yeah. No. I mean, he could be
You know where we
Italian.
start, but we think it is.
He could be Italian, but he have a German name. Why not?
Because the German Italians are so popular.
When I was in Cape Verde, I met black Africans who were called things like Yuri and Vladimir. They weren't Russian, but you know their parents were big fans of communism in the 1960s, 70s.
No, I'm still going to think it is. So,
What, for saying that?
no, see, between that and the jokes that you keep telling,
But when
it's kind of like an endurance test.
it is. Yeah, it's like the man 24 hours, the joke 24 hours. He does laugh. About 1 in 15 jokes gets. He tries not to. He tries so hard not to laugh, but he knows that if he doesn't, he'll do himself a mischief. Hello, was that a laugh? Was that no, not laughing. Like the cards in Monty Python. Do you titter when I talk of my friends? Bigger stickers. He's trying not to laugh. That's you. That's you. That is. He's got a wife, you know, in Conscientia. Sorry. Okay, so we're by the town or city of Gotham, which I assume is where we get the word Gothic from, maybe. Someone wants to look that up. They're very welcome to. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about the journey so far? Or?
Basically, it's I've been amazed and disappointed in equal measure. I'm amazed how well the volunteers on the ground are doing with the little that they have, and the hardship that they are going through, which is nothing compared to the hardship of the refugees that are coming over. But it's a very difficult situation, and they're doing an amazing job within that. Disappointed that the Red Cross and the UNHCR have to consider whether they should go out or not. That I can't make head or tail out of that one. I'm angry about that. So, but it was very emotional. There was a lot of refugees there, and some just looked shell shocked. They've all lost literally everything. All they've got is what they've got in the bags.
Yeah.
Kids. One kid was crying and kept asking the same question. And when I asked, one of the volunteers said she wants to know why she can't go home. Oh. What do you say? Just
It's heartbreaking, man.
So I'm even more determined to come back. I'm even more determined to get as much as I can, supply-wise, and see where we go from there. But you know, people have been saying how wonderful we are. We're not wonderful, not compared to the people that are there already, the ones that are sleeping rough to help others. Because these guys are not getting paid. We've got volunteers there that have actually gone into Lviv to rescue refugees.
Yeah.
This has been shelled. They're going across the border to make runs in the beach shelter to get refugees and bring them back. So compared to them, we're just visitors. But we're tired, we're exhausted. We'll probably sleep for a week. Pretty sure of it. But it's been worth it. And I'm going to do it again. And I want to come back as soon as I can. So, on that note, I'll shut up because I'm ranting now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just going to wrap up. So, as always, just thank you to everyone watching this. Thank you to everyone who shared what we've been doing. Everyone who's given us a like. Everyone who's thrown money our way through the UK for UKR website. That's UK for UKR.com. You can donate there. The money is going straight to refugees coming across the border there. We are going to be making several journeys, as many as we can, as many as the money allows us to do, and we're not going to be spending any of this money on expensive real estate, having a nice office somewhere. That's not our bag, man. We're just, this is a low-key operation, but we want to help as much as we possibly can. And you know what? Maybe there will be a system set up in the near future where people like me and Bert, and maybe you, can register to say, I will drive. You might only do it once. Once is more than, most people. I'll go to the border, I'll pick some people up, I'll take them to where they need to go in Europe, and then I'll come home. Here's my details, do a background check on me, that's fine, and then away you go, your license to do it. But the licensing, I think that has got to be something that's got to come under the auspices of an international organisation such as the UNHCR. I can't see who else would do it.
I can't.
Is it safe in a camper to travel like that? Yeah, it is, because everyone's got safety belts on. You got your safety belts on? Safety belts? Yeah. We've all got safety belts on. Don't worry. This is Alex and Alexandra.
Hello.
And and their cousins who we are taking them to Dusseldorf. Are you having fun?
What?
You having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. The hotel all right last night?
What?
The hotel, is it okay last night?
Yes, of course.
She says yes.
Everything is good. And I really thank the volunteers because you're doing a great job. It's really important for us and really necessary. We see and we feel your support, and it's everything. It warms our hearts, and we see that we are not alone.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Thanks for that. Thank you. Cool. Well, that's Alex and Alexandra. And yeah, we're taking them to Alexandra's mum in Dusseldorf. They're from Curzon. They're from the town of Curzon, and basically it's just been under Russian occupation now for the best part of the month, and it's been pretty horrible. And they didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay there. It's their home. Why should they leave? Why should they? But then the situation becomes untenable, and there's obviously problems now in Ukraine, not just with the ever-present danger of being shot at or blown up, but also medication and food is running out in Ukraine itself. We're going to start seeing airdrops very soon, I think, of humanitarian aid. I can't see any other way of doing it. But then that opens up a whole new can of worms, because if it's done by NATO, the Russians might see it as a declaration of war because they're flying their planes over Ukrainian territory. So again, it's something that the UN would have to do. Just thought of it, mate. I just thought of why the UNHCR probably isn't there at that border. I don't know if there are any other borders. Because who's got the veto power in this UN Security Council? Russia. We'll look into this.
But then explain the Red Cross.
Explain the Red Cross. Aussie hat looks cool. Stay safe, guys. Keep your heads down. Cheers. Just tipped in £25. Thanks very much. That's Emerald Embers was taken.
Nice, thank you.
Came here from Monkey Island stream, but found an excellent cause by folks with similar politics to my own, and a fellow Scouser as a bonus. Excellent, all man. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, sorry, I'm streaming on Restream, and it's on my Twitch channel, and just for a joke, I thought I was playing Secret Monkey Island months ago, and I forgot that I put that, and it's still on. Like the video comes up, it says UK for UKR, and then it says underneath is playing Monkey Island. But yeah, and shout out to all the Monkey Island fans out there as well. Maybe when I get back, I should do a walkthrough of Monkey Island. We can talk about my experiences doing this while playing Monkey Island.
You go for it, mate.
Yes. How appropriate! You fight like a cow. Okay, right. Thanks very much for watching. We're gonna press on. We're gonna stop in a minute for lunch, actually, because it is coming up to. If I can find the time. It's coming up to midday here in Germany, and hopefully we should get to Calais around 9 o'clock tonight. Through on the Eurostar. Get to the UK, and we get an extra hour when we go back to the UK because we get the hour back, so we get an extra hour. So hopefully get to the UK about 10. And then I'll be dropping Bear off in Northamptonshire, and then I'll be heading off to Liverpool. So I probably won't get to bed till about 3 o'clock tonight. So looking forward to that. But then I will sleep the sleep of angels, I swear. Okay, so thanks for watching, and we'll give you an update a bit later on, probably after we've dropped Alex and Alexandra off at Alexandra's mum's in Dusseldorf. So keep your eyes peeled and your notifications on for when that happens. So thanks very much, people. Keep on trucking. See you soon. Bye bye.